All right, so here we go. The San Antonio Spurs and the Los Angeles Lakers. And the Lakers come in with a home record of 19-7. And here comes Kobe Bryant coming off a Marv, thank you very much. We are just underway. The Lakers have it for the first time. Here is Ginobili working on Kobe Bryant, who comes into tonight number 5 in scoring in the NBA. Ron Artest, shot clock at 3, defended by Jefferson, knocked away by Blair. Here come the Spurs. This is the center. Blair with a floater and an offensive foul. The charge was taken by Derek Fisher. Number 1.
Good move here by Blair to come up with the steal, but you got to understand your personnel. You got to drop that ball off to Tony Parker. Easy avenue in for the lay-in, and understanding that Derek Fisher there to take the offensive charge.
San Antonio comes in with the best record in the NBA, 40 up and 8 down. Best road record in the NBA, 15-6. This is Bynum, who missed Tuesday against Houston with the bad knee over Duncan. And a rebound by another All-Star appearance in Tim Duncan.
It's going to be very key for the Spurs here to establish their type of tempo. They want to get out and they want to run, make sure that this stingy Laker defense doesn't have a chance to set up.
Jefferson has put together 3 pretty good games scoring. And another turnover and another shove inside with a foul. And Blair is going to pick up number 2. Not a good sign. That's the second on him. Here comes Antonio McDyess off the bench as we take a look at the lineups. And maybe not the best matchup tonight, but certainly the most interesting. Jefferson against Ron Artest.
Well, everyone around Lakerland is wondering where has Ron Artest's offense, but more importantly, his defense has gone. And how about Richard Jefferson having a career year from beyond the arc? It's not the most important matchup, but a key matchup for both teams.
Lakers come in 6.5 games and back at San Antonio. Fisher's first offering astray, picked up by Manu Ginobili. Number 5 overall record, the Lakers in the NBA, 34-15. Manu on the fly. Rebound by Kobe Bryant. And this is over Jefferson.
So far, both teams have been real tentative at the offensive end. Out there, Kobe Bryant with a little hesitation to break the drought.
Portland beat this San Antonio team Tuesday by 13. Greg Popovich said we folded just a bit in that game. I'm anxious to see how we come out tonight against the champion Lakers. The Lakers beat Houston here in overtime Tuesday. And that will go in with a nice little shot by Manu Ginobili, who truly has been the most consistent Spur this entire season.
Well, he's been the most consistent Spur because he's probably been the most healthy he's ever been in his career as Bynum gets the finish to go down low. And for the Keys' success, if you look at all the upper echelon teams in the league, at some point in time they've had injuries. So far, this starting 5 for the San Antonio Spurs has remained healthy.
McDyess sets the screen and Jefferson hits over the last 3 games. Jefferson shooting over 60% from the field.
Well, he got out the gates quick. First 28 shooting almost 60% from the field. With Pau Gasol knocks down a 15-footer. Was one of the surprise starters for the San Antonio Spurs rookie season. It kind of dropped off a little bit, but I think committed during the offseason to this intricate Spurs offense, and then it showed.
Jefferson for 3. And his stroke has been important for San Antonio, up now by a point.
Stayed in San Antonio during the offseason, really working with the assistant coaches on his long-range shooting, and it has shown.
He's shooting a career-high 42% beyond the arc.
And that's what you have to do. You have to be able to spread the floor with that three-point shooting.
Artest, who is on a horrible shooting slump of late, picked up by Jefferson and San Antonio the other way. Second time these 2 teams have met. Last time was in late December in Texas, and the Spurs won it 97-82. Over Bynum and picked up by Artest. Into Jefferson. Did he get the time? Nope, travel. He was trying to call timeout, and that is the second turnover for Phil Jackson's Los Angeles Lakers.
You know, you look at Ron, and It looks like he's trying to do a little bit too much here. This is an opportunity for Ron. The numbers aren't in your favor. Dribble the basketball out. And you can see where the travel installed right there. And people are wondering, is he healthy? He took a thigh injury in that Boston Celtic game on Sunday. Saying he's not quite 100%.
Duncan with Bynum coming out on him. And just to finish up on our test, he didn't even play in the fourth quarter and very little in overtime.
Well, he hasn't played in a lot of fourth quarters.
Exactly.
22 of 49 this year for the LA Lakers. And right now the Lakers offense just looks somewhat out of sync.
And this has been the talk here in Los Angeles, in the papers, on the talk shows, and on the blogs, that this team does not look like a two-time defending champion. Out of sync is a pretty good term to use.
Well, I'll tell you what, 34 and 15. There's a lot of teams that would love to have that record, but when you're the two-time defending champions, there's a lot to be expected from you when you're the biggest show in town, which the Lakers are.
Kobe had 32 the other night against Houston, gets his own miss into Duncan and out to Gasol. Duncan with the rebound, his second.
Good decision there by Kobe Bryant to find Powell.
Well, Kobe and Powell had a little talk, didn't they? A little powwow, so to speak.
Oh, nice, my friend.
Yeah, here comes Parker. Duncan, and no one is on him.
Yeah, they'll give Tim Duncan that shot. Even though he can make it, if you're going to keep Tim Duncan away from the basket, usually it's going to be in your favor.
Duncan matches Bynum.
I like what the Lakers are trying to do early here, trying to establish a low post threat going through Andrew Bynum and Pau Gasol.
After points tonight have come in the paint, here is Parker over Bynum on the defensive switch, and Gasol claims the rebound, his first. Leaking out early was Fisher, right to the hole for Los Angeles.
And the Lakers aren't a great fast-breaking team, but they run at certain opportunities, and right there, Kobe Bryant doing a good job of looking ahead. Bryant comes down with the rebound, and the first thing you want to do is look ahead. Al gets it out to Kobe. You look up ahead, you see Derek Fisher streaking to the basket, going strong with that left hand.
A close one, the Lakers by one. Hello, everyone. I'm Cheryl Miller. Well, the talk around town has been Ron Artest. Does he really want to be traded? Well, I spoke to Ron before the game, and he says he doesn't know how or where the rumors started, but they simply aren't true. He understands his role on the team, and that's setting the tone defensively. He did admit individually he would love to do some things, but in the end, guys, he knows he'll be judged on whether the Lakers three-peat.
Good stuff, Shell. We just saw a terrific pass by Duncan inside, and now Jefferson has got an early 5 points. As Ginobili makes the basket, and he's now got 4. Here's another turnover by Los Angeles. Ginobili again. Kobe was on him, and Duncan picks it up. Like you said, Jefferson leads San Antonio with 5. 4 for Bynum, leading the Los Angeles Lakers. Well, what do you think? I mean, do the Lakers need some kind of move right now to perhaps jumpstart this team? And like you said, I mean, they are 34 and 15 as Artest picks up the foul.
Well, it's going to be hard to make a trade with the LA Lakers. 10 of their 14 players are over 30. For instance, Ron Artest has 3 years, almost $22 million left on that contract. Now, look, this is a team that's the defending two-time champions. And yeah, Matt Barnes being injured, as we take a picture there of Mitch Kupchak, who really instigated and got this whole trade talk going by saying, look, I was very disturbed by our showing against the Boston Celtics on Sunday. We may have to shake things up. I think that was more of a message sent down to the players as opposed to him actually getting on the phone and calling other general managers.
Ginobili 2 of 6, Kobe the other way. Bryant so far 1 of 2. Into Manu. There's been some squawking, too, that maybe Kobe is having the ball too much in his hand on this team. Other players want to get it. Like we said, he had this talk with Gasol over the last couple days saying, I'm going to feed you, but you've got to be aggressive with your offense inside.
Well, if guys aren't going to be aggressive offensively when Kobe Bryant is on the floor, well, it leaves him no option but to go one-on-one and take most of the shots come forth for a period of time. Pau Gasol has to get a rhythm, and he has to get a rhythm early throughout the course of the game.
Nice block by Bynum, picked up by McDyess. Shot clock at 7. Jefferson hits again. Nice start, 3 of 4 is Richard Jefferson from the floor.
The Spurs keeping the basketball alive on the offensive end, allowing you to get second shot opportunities.
Which on defense, Ginobili. And now Jefferson will double team Gasol as they move the ball well, getting that Spurs defense on the move. Shot clock at 2. Fisher, does he know? Oh, he just about had it on a wonderful reverse, and here comes Parker the other way, hounded by Bryant. As we're under 5 to play here in the first quarter. 6 of 15 shooting for San Antonio. Great screen by Duncan. Jefferson is right on the mark with a game-high 10. 4 of 5 start for him.
And it was the flare screen by Tim Duncan that allowed Richard Jefferson to get off that wide-open 3. Big first quarter for Richard Jefferson.
Bryant. Jefferson knocked it away, reaching in. And a San Antonio foul. Jefferson picks up number 1.
Well, this is what you want your point guard to do. Dribble penetrate, which Tony Parker does. You want your big, as you see Tim Duncan right there, just sets a screen on his own man. But Richard Jefferson, trailing the play, just gets it in rhythm and knocks down his 10th point.
He said over the last 3 games shooting 63% as we swing our way now to your keys tonight, your musts for both the Spurs and the Lakers.
Well, especially in transition, it's imperative for the Spurs to pick a pace that they like. They're going to have to run so the defense of the Lakers can't get set. And 3-point showing, as we've seen Richard Jefferson already knocking down 2 threes from long distance, the 3rd. And how about the shooting guard position? In the Western Conference, the 2 best shooting guards, Kobe Bryant versus Manu Ginobili.
George Hill has come in for the first time for San Antonio. Dice is in because Blair got 2 early fouls at the starting center position for the Spurs. Fisher's on Parker. Little screen by Duncan. Into McDice. Odom is in. And got the first ball, but couldn't get the second. And Antonio McDice, at 36 years of age, finds his first 2.
Well, do you see how Tony Parker, when you dribble, penetrate, and you suck the defense in, it just allows a wide-open Antonio McDice to get the ball up on the rim.
McDice. Bryant, 1 of 4. Parker. And Artest with the steal and stepped out of bounds. You were talking today, one of the problems for the Los Angeles Lakers going up against penetrating guards, and we know that's what San Antonio does so well with their backcourt.
Well, think of the Western Conference alone. Chris Paul, as you look at Ron Artest, did he step out, or did the ball hit the referee as the referee was out of bounds? And you see that right foot.
He's on his heel hit.
It was close. I don't think he was out.
I think maybe that heel went on the right foot came over.
But you think, talk about the Western Conference guards, Chris Paul,
yes,
Darren Williams, Russell Westbrook, Tony Parker. And that's one of the things that has always been the Achilles heel with an aging point guard of the LA Lakers of Derek Fisher.
Parker just doing what we're talking about, penetrating inside as Blair has come back in the game. Duncan taking a breather. Odom ran a 20-point, 20-rebound performance the other night against Houston. That is the 6th first quarter Los Angeles Laker turnover. Jefferson over Gasol. Hill. Jefferson. McDice. No one will be on him outside. Gasol drops himself his 2nd rebound.
How about Greg Popovich rolling the dice here, bringing back Juan Blair, who picked up 2 quick fouls. I'm feeling he's going to use Thiago Splitter a lot tonight because of the early fouls of Juan Blair.
Both teams are shooting.
Can't happen. It's not a fast break team we're playing, so there's no excuse for not getting back.
Well, the San Antonio Spurs on their 9-game rodeo trip, and while they're away from home, they like to do a lot of things, but one of the things they want to tighten the screws on, as Greg Popovich told you before the game, is work on defense, like transition defense.
Major focus, and the #1 thing that they're going to try to identify during this 9-game rodeo stretch is getting better defensively. And you look at the numbers, points allowed, they give up 97 to 12. Opponent's field goal percentage, they give up 45%. So this is something they're trying to work and get better during this stretch.
Gasol now has 4. Shannon Brown has checked in for the Los Angeles Lakers with Kobe and Gasol. Odom along the speed, Blake Blair, point-blank range. Blake has it, one of the off-season additions for this team to extend their bench. And he'll work on Jefferson with Parker, McDice, Blair, and George Hill, the San Antonio 5. Brown across the lane. Gasol. Shannon for 3. 2nd rebound pulled in by Odom.
And I'm going to tell you why people are frustrated a little bit with Pau Gasol offensively in LA. He had an opportunity to take a 15-footer, and he threw it back out to Shannon Brown. Now, when you're the second leading scorer on a championship team, and you're not getting enough shots come fourth period time to get a rhythm, it's because of plays like that. Shoot the basketball. No one's going to question how many shot attempts you take.
Tony Parker over Gasol. Kobe's got it. Bryant is 1 of 4, coming the other way with 4. Jefferson's on him here.
Double penetration now with Kobe Bryant. You can get Pau Gasol at the front of the rim to finish. You just want Pau to be looking at the rim and being aggressive offensively.
On Tuesday against Houston, Gasol had 26 points and 16 rebounds, showing that kind of aggressive offensive play that this team needs, especially Bryant, who does not shy away from making comments like that. As Blair was going in, they were reaching in defensively were the Lakers with 1:15 to play. Foul goes on Kobe for the first time.
Well, we've been talking about Tony Parker. It seems like every time down the floor, getting into the paint, finally, Kobe Bryant taking 2 and 3 Spurs on. And Tony McDyess comes over to help. If you're the Spurs, you've got to drop down and put a body on Pau Gasol so he can't get the basketball.
Gary Neal comes in for Jefferson. Ginobili.
Unforced turnover right there. Manu Ginobili was faking like he was going back door. Instead of popping out, Blair thought he was coming back for the basketball. Inadvertent pass out of bounds. It's the timeout. This is a good little stretch here for the Lakers,
who were down by 6 moments ago. Hill watching Bryant. Shot clock at 6. Shannon Brown.
Last time. That's the worst thing for any kind of shooters when you have that much time from beyond the arc. You'd rather catch and shoot because everything's within rhythm. When you get half of that second to think about a shot, usually it's off.
Final 30 seconds of the first quarter. A turnover by Neal, then retrieved by Ginobili. Shot clock at 4. Blair shuffling in for 2. The Spurs had missed their last 5 until that hit.
Blair using his body going against Lamar Odom. He's going to be undersized on most nights, but Blair does a good job of using that wide body.
San Antonio has a foul to give here in the final 10 seconds of the first quarter. It has seen LA shoot 39%. Odom from Kobe. First 2 from Lamar.
Kobe Bryant already with 5 assists.
McDyess tried to get it. And it'll count! What a shot by Neal! They'll look at the replay. Falling out of bounds. I think he got that baby away before the light went on and the buzzer went off.
Well, how about Antonio McDyess being able to knock the ball over to Neal, and what he just wanted to do was get it up on the rim. Nice shot by Gary Neal.
He's a 26-year-old rookie. Coach Greg Popovich.
Well, Pop, midway through that first quarter, you called for a timeout. What is the adjustment that you wanted to make?
Well, we were letting their big guys go to their spots on the block, and if we let them go where they want to go, we won't be able to guard them.
DeJuan had 2 quick fouls in that first quarter. You took a leap of faith putting him back out there.
Well, he's been a good player all year long, and he needs to learn how to play with some fouls, so we just gave it a shot.
All right, thanks, Chris.
All right, we start the second quarter. Ginobili out there. McDyess is in the game. Thiago Splitter has come in for the first time. Hill and Neal, they go inside. Another nice defensive play by Artest. He's out there with Blake and Odom. Bynum on the floor. Shannon Brown, 3rd San Antonio turnover. And down low, we got a foul. It's called on Splitter, who is a rookie with this team from Brazil. He's played a lot of pro basketball overseas. He picks up his first personal foul.
And what Popovich is talking about the Lakers, he doesn't want Bynum to establish that low of a post down low. He wants the Spurs to fight the bigs as they're running down so they don't get low post position so easy.
Here's Ginobili working on Odom. Good catch by Neal. McDyess over Lamar.
A little bit out of his comfort. yeah, that was like an 18-footer. McDyess is a little bit better when it's 15 to 16 feet. They're daring Ron Artest to shoot the basketball.
Bynum with a little screen right there. Well, Artest in the last 4 games, 30% from the floor, averaging 6 points. He's got career low in minutes, points, rebounds, assists. It has not been a good season for Artest.
And we also highlighted him in his inability to play in fourth quarters as Hill gets one to go. And look, if they're going to get back to the championship and win, they're going to need Ron Artest, more importantly, engaged, focused in, ready to win, meaning doing whatever it takes for his team to win. Don't worry about your offense. You were brought here to play at the defensive end as Bynum picks up an offensive foul.
Bynum picks up his first. 65-year-old Phil Jackson in his last season as the coach of the Lakers.
Oh, look at Splitter move his feet right here. And you see the spin move by Bynum right into the chest of Splitter, picking up the offensive foul.
Manu Ginobili into Bynum. Artest comes up with the rebound. His third.
As this game progresses, he's got to stop letting Manu Ginobili go left.
There's a foul inside. San Antonio trying to defend. The Lakers really thought by playing, as we see Manu grimacing, the Lakers really felt that this game would give them a pretty good feel of where they stand in the landscape of the Western Conference, because this is the best team right now, not only in the West, but in the entire NBA, speaking of the Spurs.
And has already beat them once. So to me, this is a good gauge for the Lakers. They're 1-5 against the upper echelon teams. This is a chance for them to exact a little bit of revenge against the top team.
Let's take a look now at the national TV schedule. Dallas, Boston, Utah, Denver tomorrow night, ESPN, 7:30 Eastern Time. NBA TV, Atlanta, Washington. Then Sunday, Orlando at Boston. That'll be a nice matchup. Second time that Orlando has gone to Boston to play.
I want to say congratulations to the 4 Boston Celtics who made the East Reserve squad. And people were wondering if they were going to get 4. Ray Allen, Rondo, Pierce, and Kevin Garnett. Ginobili trying to do too much here early on. 2 of 8 from the field, but 2 turnovers for the Spurs.
How do you view this rodeo trip this San Antonio team is on right now? I mean, it's Pop was talking about, people think it's about bonding, and he said it's not about bonding. It's about tightening the screws in various areas of our team as Brown hits a long 2 for Los Angeles.
Well, anytime you're going out on the road, especially for a 9-game trip, yeah, it's bonding or whatever, but you focus in more when you're on the road.
Did you find that when you played?
Yes, I love playing on the road because, you rally as brothers around one another, and, obviously you're going into hostile environments, and you just focus.
Hill, that is a 3 by George Hill. That's in a beauty from outside, so he's played 7 minutes. He's got 5 points as Parker and Duncan rest on the Spurs bench.
Well, assistant coach Chad Forcier, that's one of the things he's been working with George Hill is his range. He's usually been an 18 to 20-foot jump shooter. He wants him to be more of a 3-point threat.
Blake over Neal. Splitter with the rebound. Jefferson. What a pace to this game, back and forth.
Well, it's the pace that the Spurs want. Try to get out and run and try to get some easy ones.
Ginobili with his 3rd assist. He'll be going to the All-Star game, as will Tim Duncan again. 12th time for Duncan. Blake for 3.
Nice look there by Andrew Bynum, recognizing that Gary Neal came back to try to get the ball out of his hands. Look over top and find a wide open Steve Blake for the 3.
Good drop pass and Neal. Rebound by Artest, number 4.
Seen a few of these Spurs just missed point-blank layups at the basket.
3.
Bynum the screen, open up the long 2 for Blake. Didn't hit the rim. And it is off of Shannon Brown. And a timeout taken. Our broadcast tonight from Los Angeles brought to you The Spurs in the midst of their annual rodeo trip, which started with the loss at Portland on Tuesday. They'll visit 10 cities: Portland, Los Angeles, Sacramento, Detroit, Toronto, Philadelphia, Washington, New Jersey, Chicago, and back to San Antonio. They're going to play 9 games and travel nearly 9,000 miles, all because the San Antonio Stock Show and Rodeo is taking over their arena in Texas.
Well, what's remarkable, this is the 9th consecutive season of the rodeo trip. They're 44-21, a 68 win percentage, and they've never lost more than 2 games in a row. That's what's amazing. All the road games, this team seems to really lock in and focus in.
Spurs have gone +6 in points off turnovers. Their lead is at 3. Approaching the halfway point of this second quarter. Parker is back in. McDyess, that was deflected out of bounds by Shannon Brown. 4 seconds on the shot clock.
Good active hands here by the Lakers. 4 on the shot clock. Got to go quickly if you're the Spurs.
This rodeo trip is the 9th such trip that this team has made. Parker over Blake. McDyess and Blake are chasing the ball. It's going to be off Los Angeles, which means a fresh shot clock with which the Spurs can deal with. Who enter February with 40 wins for the first time in the history of their franchise.
And that's a good call by the official. That ball definitely went out on Blake.
Hill defended by Brown. It's a foul on Los Angeles. Knocked away, 7:08 to play. I think this start by the Spurs has even surprised themselves. That's the way they've begun with 40 wins so far.
Well, usually this is a very slow developing team. They do have injuries early, but for them to be this healthy and have the same starting 5 in 48 games, to me, that's remarkable. And I think now that they're 40-8, they're recognizing, you know what? We've got the best record in the league. You know what? I think we can ride this out, and teams are going to start taking us serious, because when you think of the NBA, you think of Miami because of the Big 3. You think of the Celtics. You think of the Lakers, obviously, and even Orlando. When they overhauled their team a quarter into the season, you never think of the San Antonio Spurs. But yet, here they are, old, reliable.
Brown had just picked up his first personal foul. Here comes Odom. McDyess defending. Lamar.
Nice. The most consistent Laker this season has been Lamar Odom, and this stems from his work this summer with USA Basketball.
Duncan trying to set a screen on Blake for Hill. The rebound by Shannon Brown. Blake off the fingertips of Bynum and picked up by George Hill. And people may not, if they haven't seen a lot of San Antonio, now seeing that this team has sped up their offense. And this has been a trait we've seen since the opening game, where they've really tried to add another gear. There's a 3 miss by Hill and picked up by Bynum.
It's almost like they're playing like the Phoenix Suns. They run up and down. They shoot a lot of threes. They're averaging 104 points a game. When we won championships, they were usually the bottom half offensively, but no longer are they going through Tim Duncan.
Bynum 2-3. Odom taking it inside. Jefferson may have gotten a hand on the slithery Lamar Odom. Jefferson picks up his second personal foul.
It means a lot to San Antonio Spurs. I think the guys' favorite community projects to be involved in are anything involved with the wounded soldiers. That's been great to see these guys who are very young and have gone to war and come back. It's fun to go out and be able to put a smile on someone's face, kind of give back to them a little bit, knowing as much as they've given to us.
We've seen a lot of NBA teams, NFL teams all embrace the military, and Tim Duncan at the forefront of that effort for the San Antonio Spurs. We were talking before that the pace of this game and the way at least it's been conducted through the first quarter and a half is maybe not what the Los Angeles Lakers are looking for. Kind of a little scary for them.
But to me it is, because if you allow the San Antonio Spurs to hang around, they've got too many shooters, too many guys. What is the weakness of the Lakers? Guys that penetrate. Tony Parker, Monty Ginobili, who can kick it out to the shooters like Hill, Gary Neal, Richard Jefferson. And that's scary once you get into the third and fourth period.
Fisher's back in, Kobe's in, joining us all. Artest is there. And Lamar Odom, that's the Laker 5. Jefferson, Hill, Parker, Tim Duncan, McDyess for the San Antonio Spurs. Duncan, Parker, and Ginobili so far have started 3 of 15 from the floor.
But yet, the ball game is even, and that shows you the depth of the San Antonio Spurs. And you got Richard Jefferson, who got off to that hot start, 12 points already.
Kobe knocks away. So if you were going to pick a bench, as you look at both San Antonio and Los Angeles, whose bench do you favor?
Well, right now I'm going with the San Antonio Spurs because you got Matt Barnes, who was hurt. Theo Ratliff is coming back from an injury. And you've got guys that you didn't expect to get Gary Neal to shoot the basketball as a rookie. You didn't expect George Hill to develop after his rookie year to play as well as he's been playing. So I like what San Antonio's doing, and they're under the radar. I mean, for them to be 40-8, have the best record in all of basketball, I think they were a little bit surprised, but now that they have it, I think they're hungry to show everyone just because we're getting older, we can still get it done.
Ball was kicked, 14 on the shot clock with the drive by Parker. Duncan picked up by Gasol. Tim Duncan, 2 of 4.
And people say, yeah, but can they beat the Los Angeles Lakers in a series? And I say absolutely yes. They got the things that the Lakers don't want to see. Tony Parker in the lane, a bona fide closer in Manu Ginobili, and a low post threat in Tim Duncan. Now, during that series, Tim Duncan is going to have to average 20 points and, to me, 13 or 14 rebounds for them to be successful against the Lakers, because that's a tall order, because you have to put pressure on Pau Gasol if you're going to be able to beat the Lakers. And to me, Tim Duncan can do that. Can he do it consistently? He's not having not a lot of wear and tear as Pau Gasol knocks down a jump shot. There's not a lot of wear and tear this year for Tim Duncan. Career low in minutes at 29.
Pau Gasol with 8. Under 5 to play here in the first half. Picked off by Fisher. Artest will trail against Jefferson. One Artest. The second 2-point lead for the Lakers tonight.
That's anticipation there by Derek Fisher to get into the passing lanes.
Look at Artest. The big story in the Los Angeles papers today about a rumor that Artest had requested a trade. He denied it. His agent denied it. But he has been kind of the target of a lot of fans as to why this team is stumbling.
Well, he hasn't shot the ball particularly well. You mentioned career low in minutes, rebounds, points, assists. But defensively, when I say when he's engaged, there's no better on-ball defender than Ron Artest. Sometimes he can go a little south. But if you can pull him out of that, it's huge for your team.
Kobe 1 of 4. Into Blair. Blair just picked up his, that's going to be on Hill. Hill picked up his first. Looked like Blair might have gone in there. Now we can tell you that shopNBAstore.com tonight to get free All-Star gear. Use code FS All-Star. Hold on here, I'm reading this iPad thing and it's all messed up. You know what? We need cards.
What?
I'm going to call in for the cards. I'm done.
You're going to the bullpen?
Yeah, the thing
You're
is not
going to. You're bringing in Mariano.
There goes Jefferson. Here comes Ginobili with 4:05 to play here in the second quarter. Free throw shooting has found the Lakers at 6 of 7. The Spurs so far 1 of 2. You know, I was thinking for opposing teams when they take on the Lakers, you know, they got the face of Bryant, and it seems like teams are always getting up for the Lakers. I wonder if teams get up for playing the Spurs.
Well, early on in the season, no. But now that they have the best record, every team now can say, hey, we beat the team with the best record in the league. So that's a challenge in itself for an older team like the San Antonio Spurs.
Duncan 2 of 5. Lakers on a 6-0 run. Blair deflected it. Duncan brings it in. 2-on-1. Hill against Artest. Second foul on Ron.
Good decision there by Ron Artest to grab George Hill. George Hill, it looked like he had a step on Ron.
think of the coaches that Ron Artest has had in his NBA career.
Well, we talk about Tim Floyd in Chicago, Isaiah Thomas, Rick Carlisle in Indiana, and you got Musselman, Adelman, Reggie Theus in Sacramento, and then Adelman again in Houston, and all of them have not been able to tame Ron Artest. There's one coach that has, Phil Jackson. He's gotten the most out of Ron Artest. They were able to win a championship. He didn't have the best season last year, but there was 2 games in particular. If it wasn't for those games, the Lakers wouldn't be winning the championship. The putback against Phoenix, and obviously Game 7 versus Boston here. It was the Ron Artest show with Kobe Bryant shooting 6 of 24 in that game.
Cheryl, we know that Phil Jackson has had edgy players before, like Dennis Rodman.
Absolutely, and Reggie, you were in the interview room when we were sitting down with Derek Fisher, and he was talking about there's a perception out there. As you see Ron Artest scoring right there, there's that perception out there that Ron is sometimes not engaged, as you mentioned, but the plays where he tied up Tim Duncan, and you see him wrapping up and taking a hard foul, that's the Ron Artest of old they need.
There's a lot of times when Ron could have off-the-court goings-on that can somewhat distract his focus. But when he's engaged, he's one of the better players. That's the difference. People always talk about Dennis Rodman. Dennis Rodman brought it every single night. And Ron Artest is learning to do that as this game is starting to get physical. These are 2 teams.
Tonight's Battle Stat presented by Battle Los Angeles in theaters March 11th. A lot of numbers there. What caught your eye when you took a look at the first time these 2 teams met?
Well, you think of the size of the Los Angeles Lakers. There's no way that they should, points in the paint, be a -14 when you have Pau Gasol, Andrew Bynum, and Lamar Odom. Those guys, when you get them going down low, they're as good as they get. And for San Antonio to be in control of that, that's what I like, especially at home for the Spurs.
Well, tonight, Los Angeles +8 points in the paint. So they have reversed that as Bynum takes a breather. Gasol, Bryant, Odom, Fisher, Blake, the Laker 5. Hill, Parker, Duncan, Ginobili, Blair for San Antonio. Under 3 to play. Duncan, rebound by Bryant.
And this is a very important 3-minute stretch here for the San Antonio Spurs. You're down 5 points. You can't let this game get away from you in this first half.
Blake over Ginobili. Steve Blake has 5. Biggest lead for the Lakers tonight with Blair. Playing with a couple fouls. Giving it off to Hill.
Talk about Tony Parker. 0 of 4 from the field. No points and only 2 assists.
And he's been playing well of late. He struggled a little bit, as did the entire backcourt up in Portland for the Spurs. Screen by Duncan, Ginobili. With Fisher defending. Rebound by Kobe Bryant.
And your backcourt now is 2 of 13 for the San Antonio Spurs between Tony Parker and Manu Ginobili.
Odom, Fisher, Blair pokes it away. Kobe, 6 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists.
So Blake off the bench, 5 points, 2 of 5 shooting. A little handoff here and a little give and go, and he steps back behind the 3, and you think he's coming off the pick and roll and elects to go baseline to knock down the 17-footer.
Odom with a Gasol screen. Duncan with the rebound, number 4. Parker, good screen by Blair, which then put Parker right into the backpedaling defense of Odom.
Well, great screen by Blair, but how about the finish with the left hand by Tony Parker to pick up his first basket in this first half?
He's 1 of 5. Blair watching Odom. Tonight, Greg Popovich said Blair's got to be very good in the middle defensively.
Well, you look at the numbers, he's usually better at home than he is on the road, and that's what Greg Popovich is looking for out of Dwan Blair. More aggressive.
Look at Parker knife his way through, back to an earlier point you made about the Lakers struggling with penetrating guards.
And that's what he has to do. He's got to be aggressive offensively. Yeah, he struggled early, but back-to-back baskets by Tony Parker to cut into the lead to 3. See the tough left-hand basket right there, and again, getting into the defense, and another left hand off the glass for Tony Parker. 4 quick points.
Bynum, Gasol over the much smaller Blair. Pau Gasol has put in 10, first Laker in double figures.
see how long Pau Gasol is and how he used his body against the smaller Blair for that position down low.
And Fisher was trying to ride Parker and picks up the personal foul for Los Angeles. 48.7. First called on Derek Fisher. That's the first. Called it inside 2, and so we'll have a inbound coming from San Antonio. The Spurs, we began our broadcast telling you, best record in the NBA. Out goes Blair, in comes McNice. Duncan bumped, and he was picked up on the play by Bynum. Picks up the foul for the Los Angeles Lakers. That is his second of the game. Here in Los Angeles, we've got the Lakers on top of the San Antonio Spurs, 42-37. Let's now take you to the award-winning Ernie Johnson in our TNT Arena in Atlanta. Thank you. Kobe Bryant, 1 of 6 in the first half.
Oh, come on!
Ginobili, count it! Wow, what a dive inside by Manu Ginobili. He got that to go. Fisher picks up his second personal foul.
I'll tell you what, you sound like our good friend Charles Barkley in the studio yelling out Ginobili like that. Look how he gets into the paint right there, takes the contract over the outstretched hands of Andrew Bynum. We have a tie ball game. We were saying it was very important this last 3 minutes for the Spurs not to let this game get away from them when they were down 5. Good focus mentally by the San Antonio Spurs.
There's a difference of 3 seconds. Game clock and shot clock. Here comes Fisher. He is 1 of 3. Defended by Parker. Offensive board. Here comes Pau Gasol. Down to 4. McNice back out. It goes to Blake. His 3 no good. Picked up by Duncan. Our first half has come to a close. Tied at 42. The 2 top teams in the Western Conference. The Spurs close the second quarter on a 9-2 run. Kobe's got 6, 12 for Jefferson. We're tied at 42 on TNT. 2. Spurs have led by as many as 6. The Lakers have led by as many as 7. Aerial coverage tonight provided by Goodyear. Fuel Max Tires. Help you get there on less gas. Always with plenty of gas is Reggie. Well, that didn't sound right. I'm sorry. I meant that you were
Sure.
going, not the other kind. Not the other kind. Hey, real quickly, Kobe Bryant's put up some interesting numbers in this first half.
Well, everyone's talking about, is Kobe Bryant shooting too much? What I've liked tonight has been the facilitator. Here getting the ball down low to Andrew Bynum with the finish, taking on 2 Spurs and getting Pau Gasol, the second leading scorer on this Laker team, and then looking ahead to Derek Fisher with the finish. But for this team to move to the next level, you know, Charles was right at halftime. Kobe's going to have to be more of a facilitator, and these 2 guys are going to have to get it going in the second half. If you look at the shot clock for these 2 guys, they've got to be aggressive, taking the ball into the basket, taking contact. Only 5 of 17 for the backcourt of the San Antonio Spurs.
Just a follow-up on Kobe Bryant. There's a nice jam there by Blake. Kobe hit the Lakers' first field goal tonight. He has not hit from the field since. Bryant is 1 of 6. And so Gasol and Bynum. Bryant in our chest with Fisher at the point. Out there to begin the second half for Los Angeles, Kobe Bryant. We got Parker along with Ginobili, Tim Duncan, Jefferson, and Gray. The San Antonio 5 player comes up with it, quickly triggers out the Parker. Into Fisher.
Nice wall there defensively by Tim Duncan, making a tough shot by Kobe Bryant.
Oh, little crossover by Blair, working on Gasol, and picked up by Fisher. Fisher so far 1 of 4. Kobe 1 of 8. Our test. Tim Duncan thought he had all ball. They're going to call him for the foul. With the clock at 10:51 as we swing it over to Hall of Famer Cheryl Miller.
Well, Kevin and Reggie, I spoke to the Lakers assistant coach Chuck Person, who is responsible for scouting the San Antonio Spurs. He said the first half, he thought defensively they did a very good job of closing down the middle and keeping Ginobili and Parker out of the paint. He said rebounding-wise, as a team, we have to do a better job collectively, offensively. In the second half, they're going to continue to pound the ball in the paint to Gasol and Bynum, and better job of closing out the quarters, guys.
Good stuff, Cheryl. Our test at the line. Bynum, you mentioned this back in the first half, did not play on Tuesday, a bone bruise in his left knee. He had right knee surgery that forced him to miss the first 25 games of the season. Now he is out there, and the more he plays and the more he gets into rhythm of this team, the better off the Lakers are going to be.
Well, you got to utilize him while he's out there because of his size.
Ginobili for three. Manu, who has been shooting so well from three-point territory, is number 1 in the NBA in three-point shots attempted and number 4 in three-pointers made.
Again, this is the new and improved offense. That's not new and improved.
No.
Kobe Bryant taking the ball to the holes.
Kobe inside, and he's got 8.
Chess has done a good job on that first half as he takes an elbow to the face by Manu Ginobili, reaching in. If you reach, I'm going to teach.
It's the third. He goes on Ron Artest.
One couple dribbles in for Kobe Bryant. Looking for a foul right there, but good give and go there by Andrew Bynum using that size. And you always like when your bigs are able to handle the basketball up top.
Good pass by Duncan. Blair the miss. Bynum collects the loose ball. Rebound number 5 for Andrew.
3 or 4 shots at the rim that Blair has missed.
Yeah, we were just talking about the health of the Los Angeles Lakers. That's kind of been an ongoing story as Ginobili picks up his second. Speaking of health, San Antonio, one of the many ingredients with their successful start has been the health of their team.
Well, they're the only team with the starting 5 intact. If you look at the rest of the upper echelon teams, in Chicago, and Miami, and Boston, they've all had key guys out with injuries. Well, the only one that's really been out for the San Antonio Spurs has been Matt Bonner, who's been an integral part coming off the bench. As you see the backdoor give and go by Tim Duncan to Tony Parker.
Duncan with another assist, his third. Tony Parker's got 6, and moments ago we saw Gasol put in his 12th point for Los Angeles. He is the only Laker in double figures tonight. Kobe, 2 of 10. Ginobili defending. Kobe broke free. The ball ricochets off his knee and out of bounds.
Well, how about the hands of the big fella, DeJuan Blair? Not worrying about fouls, sticking his hand in there, gets the ball to deflect off of Kobe Bryant. He gets by Manu Ginobili, who falls down. Blair just gets a little bit of a finger on it and deflects out of bounds. Spurs basketball.
Duncan, and they let him fight. Tim is 2 of 6 tonight.
We know Kobe Bryant has had finger issues throughout his career, maybe taking a little bit of a slap down by DeJuan Blair on that injured finger.
Arthritis has been one of the things.
Well, it's going to set in.
Yeah.
When basketball players all will go through this. They all get jammed fingers and thumbs.
Gasol, and here comes Tony Parker. Powell is 6 of 8. This match here now, Parker the point guard. Gasol now they're switching. Fisher goes back on Tony. Artest is on Jefferson. Gasol watching Duncan.
Started this telecast by saying they'll give Tim Duncan that 17 to 18-foot jump shot. If he's not down in the post, then they'll live with it.
There's a San Antonio foul coming with 8:12 to play here in this third quarter.
And we were talking about DeJuan Blair maybe hitting Kobe's hands. He might have got his hand hit on the backboard right there. And that's probably where the injury occurred, as he slapped the backboard when the ball came out.
Blair just picked up his 3rd foul. He had 2 early ones. Bynum and Duncan. Shot clock is down to 7. Parker into Fisher.
That's nice. And you see the little hesitation, stutter dribble, kind of gets Derek Fisher off balance a little bit. Goes right up over him.
Parker with 8. As you take a look at the backcourt points. Gasol scooping it inside, taken by Ron Artest. So Artest has 9 points and 5 rebounds in 23 minutes. And Gasol comes up with his second assist tonight.
Finished there by Artest as well.
Duncan on the run. Gasol grabs onto his 4th rebound. Kobe 2 of 10. Nice knock inside by Duncan.
See, and that's the one thing Tim Duncan will always do. I don't care if Father Time is catching up with him. It's because of his size and his ability to block shots. That's why the Spurs team will always be in every game.
Duncan is averaging 7 points less than his career average. Reggie told you earlier, career low minutes play. Ginobili with Artest right there. Manu has gone 5 of 12 with 12.
That's good D by Ron Artest. Just better O by Ginobili, creating the distance between the two.
Fisher 1 of 4. 1 of 5. Another rebound by Blair.
You don't need that shot if you're Derek Fisher. You've got too many other scorers on this team to take a forced shot like that.
Each team shooting 41% for the game. Jefferson the 3. Lakers the other way, shooting 30% in this quarter. Finally, Bynum is inside.
And this is a good timeout by Greg Popovich. Understanding his team offensively has.
Lopez taped earlier tonight. His Lopez tonight, and he always comes to Laker games. TBS weekdays. The comedy continues right after Conan. Don't miss Lopez tonight. All new weeknights at midnight. Only on TBS. Kevin Harlan, Cheryl Miller. Next to me, Reggie Miller. This Laker team lost to Boston here on Sunday. But you were saying it was how they lost that would concern you.
Well, Boston right now is probably playing the best basketball in the league. And they played bully ball. And they straight punked the Lakers on national television. And when you look at some of the key losses for the Lakers, Miami Christmas Day on national televised game getting blown out. The Heat, we talked about the Celtics, the Spurs already have beaten them. And what about some of the losses here? Sacramento at home. Indiana losing, coming in here winning. Milwaukee winning in this building. So you can't get up for all 82 games. Look, they're the defending champions. But when you're going against the upper echelon teams, the teams that you may potentially see in the finals, you got to play better.
Difficult shot for Kobe Bryant. 10, 3 of 11. Well, we just saw them against elite teams and how they have fared. You can't just flip on the switch. Phil Jackson knows it.
And I like what Derek Fisher said at the top of the telecast. Look, we haven't played well, particularly at home. We haven't had one of these signature wins. We're supposed to dominate at home.
Jefferson with a 3. Knocked out of bounds off Los Angeles. San Antonio's ball.
And Richard Jefferson getting off to the 10 points in that first period really has struggled since those wide open threes. Not seeming to go down for Richard Jefferson here in this third period as George Hill comes in for Manu Ginobili.
Well, the Lakers did feel this was a better team this year than last year's team with the addition of Blake.
Well, Blake, Matt Barnes, Theo Ratliff.
Yep. Parker over Bynum. Good shot by Tony. In the mismatch, he's got 10.
Well, now he's 5 of 10. Really, he struggled in that first half, was 0-4 for them. 2 buckets right before the half, and now it seems to have gotten his legs here in the second half.
Bryant again over Tim Duncan this time. Kobe's hit 2 in a row. And 12 now to equal the 12 of Gasol.
And this is why I like the approach by Kobe Bryant. Be the facilitator in the first half. Try to get everyone involved. And come second half, then you get my rhythm.
Little trap on Parker. 3-second. It's going to be on the Lakers.
You want to know why Kobe Bryant gets open so often on these pick and rolls? Look how he just throws the ball out there. He's not worried about Tim Duncan coming and showing on this pick and roll because he's going to get the ball up and elevate. But it's throwing the basketball in front of you, getting that head start is why Kobe Bryant, I know no other person I've seen of that size be able to do that. Obviously, he's the great Michael Jordan. Great footwork, great mechanics, and that's what I like about him.
Is Kobe, you think, as demanding as Michael was in terms of getting on his teammates, being demanding of others?
He can be, but he's got to be that 24/7, and you've got to have and garner that respect from your teammates. Michael, anytime he walked into a ring, people were going to follow him. And Kobe's getting that, and he's getting that respect. But it's a work in progress.
Artest is 4 of 7. Parker belted by Fisher. That's the third on Derek.
They're going to give him 2 shots. And Derek Fisher saying this was on the floor. Let's see if Tony Parker's getting ready to go up. Yeah, he wasn't going to take another dribble. And that is a good call by Ken Maurer and Corley Kirkland, the officials.
You said something just a second ago, which I hope our audience was able to absorb. But San Antonio has started the same 5 every game this season. That's a remarkable statistic.
For an older team as well. I mean, this is one of the veteran teams, and they don't have a lot of hard practices. I believe it's Tony Parker leads this team in minutes at 33. So there's not a lot of taxation on the bodies of these older guys, but yet they're 40 and 8.
So the consistency of the roles that this team has had been very important, and the rotations have been more consistent because they've been winning.
No one's going to play heavy minutes. We're not worried about injury. We got guys that come off the bench, and we're going to roll with that. Everyone knows their roles, and you know that's how Greg Popovich runs his organization. Which I have to admit, they do great scouting, great management. Tony Parker is getting it going here in this second half.
Team high 14. He's got 14. Ginobili's got 12. Jefferson's got 12.
Point guards really put the pressure on the line, especially penetrating point guards like a Tony Parker.
Gasol lost the ball. Here comes Parker, and galloping behind is Odom. Count it. Parker with 16. Timeout, Los Angeles. 12 in the quarter for Tony Parker.
And it's been the Tony Parker show here in the second half.
With aerial coverage provided by Goodyear. Fuel Max tires help you get there on less gas. And thanks to the folks flying high above Los Angeles. Boy, it was about 70 degrees today, blue skies, just a gentle breeze, a terrific day in Southern California. The Spurs on a little 7-0 run right now. We had a great debate at breakfast this morning about great teams having at least 3 great players. And if you almost trace how great teams are put together, they usually have 3, like San Antonio, Ginobili, Duncan, and Parker. And in Los Angeles, it's Gasol and Kobe and then somebody else.
Well, at times it's Lamar Odom, Andrew Bynum. Look at taking turns for the San Antonio Spurs. It's remarkable how they've switched being the leading scorer over the last 6 seasons. As Powell gets one of the guys. I don't think there's been another team in history with 3 legitimate superstars that one guy wasn't like the go-to guy for 6 years straight. This is a team that no one cares who gets all the accolades.
Nice is in. Odom grabs the rebound. Gasol moments ago put in his 14-point for Los Angeles. 2.5 at play here in the third. Here's Blake, Odom, Kobe, Gasol, and Shannon Brown. The Laker 5. Brown into Neal. That's a foul called on Neal, the rookie for the Spurs. That's the first on Neal.
Well, how about Shannon Brown not settling for the 3-point shot? Neal just a little bit late, rotating over. Take the ball into the basket. Was he moving? His feet are still moving. He wasn't set. It's a good call there by Ken Maurer. And now the Lakers on a 5-0 run after the timeout by Phil Jackson.
It's kind of been a nondescript game.
Great LA fans are not into the game. You got to get the fan base into it. It's almost like the Lakers are somewhat sleepwalking, which it's surprising after that humiliating loss against Boston. Tony Parker, my goodness, putting on the Jets here. 8 of 13 from the field, 18 points.
And 14 in this quarter. Kobe for 13 over Hill. Fouled by George Hill. It is Kobe Bryant, yeah. Second on Hill.
Hill's going to have to do a better job of fighting Kobe Bryant on that cross screen in the triangle. Kobe's getting it too low.
National TV schedule ESPN tomorrow with Dallas at Boston, Utah's at Denver, NBA TV Atlanta, Washington, ABC Sunday Orlando and Boston. Celtics came in here and looked, as we mentioned before, it was so good on a Sunday afternoon. They shot 60%. And prior to that, the Lakers had lost to Sacramento, and that was really where all this. Do they need a jolt? Do they need a trade maybe to upset things, shake things up a little bit? That's what really kind of was born out of it.
And after that Boston loss on Tuesday, you had Houston come in here and take this team to overtime.
Exactly.
And was down 4 late in overtime where they easily could have won the basketball game.
Parker scored the last 8 points. He carried the ball right there. He scored the last 8 points for San Antonio, who watched their lead go to 8 moments ago. That's the Spurs' first turnover in the last 14 minutes of the game.
Right now the Lakers are starting to get a little bit more energy, and it's really started at the defensive end for them.
Odom. That was a long 2 by Lamar. And a shot to the face there is.
Was that by Antonio McDyess?
Yep.
Was it an inadvertent elbow?
It looked like it.
The foul was on Kobe Bryant going over the back of George Hill, but on a separate play, it looked like Antonio McDyess caught an inadvertent elbow as they were boxing out from Antonio McDyess. Yeah, it's an accident.
Kobe just picked up his 3rd foul.
Sometimes you can't stick your face in there. It happens. It happens like that sometimes, you know. You got hit in the eye or the nose, and that's when your eyes start to water.
I know a lot of people say that, he carries that soft tag. He's not as aggressive as he should be. We talked before how Kobe had addressed it.
I'll take him.
Exactly, but he's a top 5 rebounder and a top 10 shot blocker. I mean, in some of those rugged categories, he is right there.
Block shots, almost 4 assists a game, so he's a passing and willing big man.
Neal. There's Gary Neal, who's had a couple of games that he has struggled in a row, which has been very unlike him for this season. He's been a very steady, consistent performer for the San Antonio team throughout the season. Over Dreyer, it's Odom. And the rebound by George Hill.
Time the Lakers get within striking distance, 2 quick long shots by Lamar Odom.
Nice. Diving inside, and Odom took the charge. That's the first on McDyess.
Last time Antonio McDyess has even thought of a jump stop. A jump stop right here, and you have a wide open layup. You understand Lamar Odom came over, pre-rotated, jump stop, 1 dribble, dunk, Antonio. Where's the fundamentals?
Brown. And just drops it back to Brown. Nice defense by Neal. Odom got a hand on it.
Well, with Pau Gasol and Kobe Bryant on the bench here for Phil Jackson with only 38 seconds left. See if the Spurs can ramp up this lead.
McDyess, the defense by Odom. And that was off San Antonio, they say. Rebounding in this game, very close. Lakers +1. 3-point shooting. San Antonio +9 points, as you see the rebounding numbers right there. Here's Steve Blake in the NCAA championship with Maryland. This is over here with the rebound by Odom. Out to Brown. 9 to shoot in the quarter. Ginobili picks up a foul. He goes ramming his way into Odom.
Bad shot by Shannon Brown. You got to know the shot clock. You got to get the last possession. Very fortunate Bynum came up with that rebound and got fouled.
Look at that third quarter with those two guys, Parker and Ginobili, which has been a difference with Bynum at the free throw line for the first time tonight. TBS weeknights, wild and nocturnal. Catch Conan in his natural habitat on TBS. New episodes of Conan weeknights at 11, 10 Central, only on TBS.
You talked about this being a nondescript game, Kev. Both teams only shooting 42% from the field. Not a lot of energy.
Hill with seconds there on the move, trying to beat the clock. And the Lakers will trail by 3 going to the 4th. Back and forth we've got Cheryl Miller with Laker coach Phil Jackson.
All right, Coach, you said at times that opposing teams seem to come in and play with more energy. Was the intensity where you wanted it?
I didn't like our third quarter intensity. Neither did Pop. He called the timeout before I did. I thought both of us got out to a slow start. You know, it's another 23-21 quarter. You know, we're just not in a good flow right now offensively, and they're doing a great job. Our defense is okay, but we got to do a little better.
Better job of keeping Ginobili and Tony Parker out of the paint.
It was Parker this quarter, really.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Because Parker was absolutely devastatingly good for San Antonio in that third. Artest has 11. Here comes Hill, wheeling down the lane. Hill can't get it to go. Bynum collects the rebound.
Talk about Powell as well as Kobe off the floor right now. See if the Lakers could go to Ron or Test down low.
Shannon Brown. Lakers by 1, not the way Popovich thought his defense would begin this fourth quarter.
Good 4 points here by the Lakers.
Neal and Blair and Hill, Ginobili and McDyess, the San Antonio 5. Odom, Blake, Brown, Bynum, Artest, the Laker 5. Neal for 3. McDyess pushed by Bynum, who picks up the foul.
It looks like that might be a control tip where McDyess can get 2 free throws. And it is. McDyess here, long shot by Neal. Nice getting up quick, trying to put the ball back, and you see Bynum come over to the top with the foul on the wrist of Antonio McDyess.
Bynum with his third. Here is McDyess at the line, and we know that San Antonio has been terrific at holding a lead. In fact, when leading at the end of 3, 33-1. Not a bad record.
Well, they'll let you know the veteran leadership that the Spurs have on this team, because they have 2 guys that can control the tempo with their dribbling, Tony Parker and Ginobili, and this is a pretty good free throw shooting team. Something that's been somewhat of an Achilles heel over the years for the San Antonio Spurs, but doing a better job of shooting free throws as a team.
Test. Shannon Brown wheels by Ginobili. Neal digging for it. Odom shoving him aside and picks up the Los Angeles foul, first on Lamar. Lamar's numbers are very solid up and down.
We talked about, to me, Lamar has been the most consistent LA Laker all season. And we talked about his offseason, playing with the world team in Turkey and having that experience and staying in shape throughout the offseason really helped as he came into the season.
Good touch inside for Blair. 6 points, 4 rebounds when they met in late December. Blair was terrific with 17 points and 15 rebounds.
Basically, you have the bench players of the Lakers versus the starters of the San Antonio Spurs. Lamar coming off his second 2020 game of his career against the Rockets. 20 points, 20 rebounds on Tuesday. Tonight, only 2 of 6, 5 rebounds to go along with 6 points.
Blair picks up his 4th. Here is Odom at the line. TJ Simers had an interesting column the other day talking about the Lakers, and he said, if there's any doubt about the Lakers, the regular season wouldn't be interesting. It seems like there is always a bit of a trough for this team. And to think of this, too, this is a 2-time defending NBA championship team that is constantly the target, gets the best performances of other teams. Think of how you got to sustain that every night in a very rugged regular season.
I want to remind people, this Lakers were losers of 7 of 11 as McDyess gets another jumper to go. Losers of 7 of 11 going into the playoffs last season and ended up winning a championship. So, is there a lot of importance to having home court advantage? Yes, it does mean something, especially if you get to a Game 7. But you can't tell me the Lakers can go into anyone's building and win a ball game.
McDyess with 6. Look at Phil Jackson. Kobe Bryant said the other day, he said, the Spurs were playing this season to Phil. I almost take it personal that I want him to go out the right way. His last year coaching in the NBA.
We all know Phil Jackson likes to win championships in 3. Twice he did it in Chicago, trying to do it here with the Lakers.
Neal getting by Blake and over Bynum. Now the Spurs begin. It's a busy night here at the Staples Center in downtown Los Angeles. Kobe Bryant taking a breather now. He'll come in soon. But you know what? His fourth quarter numbers this season have not been very glittering.
The lowest since his rookie season here with the Lakers.
Why?
Only,
what's the struggle?
well, you know, he's getting older in age, obviously, and teams are putting more pressure on him. And I think he's having to do more in the fourth quarter. I think that's what everyone's talking about here, about spreading the wealth a little bit.
Brown with Ginobili coming up on him. Quick double by McDyess, and there's a 3-second. And it's inside offensively, and it's called on, I think, Artest.
Artest was camping in the lane a little
bit.
But you talk about the fourth quarter struggles, and Powell is right in the same boat with Kobe. Only shooting 36% from the field and only averaging almost 3 points a game. Mind you, we talked about Ron Artest in his fourth quarter, even though he's on the fourth for this game. He hasn't been in the fourth in 22 of 49 games for the Lakers. So you have 3 starters who struggle come fourth period time, and the Lakers are still 34 and 15.
Bynum picks up his 4th foul.
All right, I'm going to send a memo to the Lakers. Manu Ginobili is left-handed and likes to go left-handed.
San Antonio coached by Greg Popovich with the best record. That means he'll be coaching the All-Star team in Los Angeles in this building in a couple weeks. And you ask him, what's it feel like to be head coach of an All-Star team? He said, you know what, it's very humbling to walk into that room and know that I'm amongst truly the best players in the world. He says, I really recognize it.
I get to exchange autographs and X's and O's with the best players and basically tell them what to do. And he said it was more of a +2 for his coaching staff.
Odom to Bynum. And Bynum comes up with his 10th point. He's got 10 rebounds. Odom with assist number 3.
Position there by DeMar Odom.
Ginobili, the dice. Jefferson for the triple. Richard Jefferson with 15.
And he's a better fourth quarter scorer, shooting 64% from the field and almost 52% from long range come fourth quarter time.
Right now, San Antonio has equaled their biggest lead of 8.
And does Phil Jackson go to his 2 closers?
Blake. Bynum with the block.
You have a crowd every time Ron Artest gets the basketball. As the side comes up, move the basketball.
Odom is 2 of 8. Neal off the bench with 6. Blair playing with some foul problems. Tries to find Ginobili.
Terrible play.
Yep, they lost it.
Blair put Ginobili in a tough situation like that. Should have just shot the basketball.
But only the turnover against San Antonio. Odom surging inside.
Turnovers lead to easy buckets at the other end.
Here comes Kobe. Blair picks up his 5th personal foul.
DeMar Odom electing not to come off the screen by Andrew Bynum. Goes baseline to his strong hand, takes the contact and gets fouled. I think Phil Jackson has said enough is enough. We're going to go with Kobe and Powell for the remainder of this fourth.
But you know, as Phil says, Reggie said, there are times when Kobe takes this team and puts it on his back, and it works. And sometimes it doesn't work. There's not been a real regular pattern to that with Bryant in that regard.
Well, you've got to allow Kobe to be Kobe because he's won so many games for you in the past. And that's what closers and finishers do. You know, they want the last shot. I've been in that same boat Kobe is, and you want to take every shot because you believe you can will this team to win.
Parker with 18 in a great third quarter. Shot clock at 4. Blake defending Parker for 2. Rebound by Gasol. His 5th. And he had McDyess in there vying for that ball. Antonio picks up his 2nd. We have not talked tonight about a missing player for the Spurs. Matt Bonner, who does a lot with his outside shooting. He's the number 2 three-point shooter in the NBA. He's got a bruised bone on his right knee. 7th consecutive game he has missed.
Well, a lot of sets that the Spurs run that pick and pop action because of his three-point shooting. Pop has to eliminate because he doesn't have that player who can stretch the floor as McDyess picks up another foul, his 3rd.
Here's Antonio.
Now it looks like they're bringing in, they're going to go small with Antonio McDyess going to the bench and George Hill.
It's really 3 guards, Hill, Neal, and Parker.
You're Kobe, you got to take Neal down low.
And that's what he's going to try to do on the pass from Artest. Kobe 4-13.
I would do this all night long if I'm Phil Jackson. And there's no way Neal is going to be able to guard Kobe Bryant 12 to 15 feet away from the basket.
The red flag has been waved, and Kobe hits the... Down to a 3-point lead halfway through this 4th quarter. Time now for the Marines teamwork play of the game, authored by Manu Ginobili.
Well, Ginobili has struggled from the field, but that has not stopped him from finding his teammates. Blair there with the nice finish, taking the ball off and finding Richard Jefferson, and that's what they call that hockey assist, being aggressive offensively. Manu Ginobili.
Ginobili just come back in the game, taking the place of Neal. Kobe hit a jump shot as we went to break. So Bryant's got 16. Manu for 3. Oh, Artest gave him a huge elbow right in the face. Not called. And we go the other way. Here comes Bryant, picked up by Jefferson. Kobe. Ginobili is right there. Kobe 5 of 15.
That was a design play out of that timeout by Greg Popovich to get a wide open shot for Manu Ginobili.
Parker the crossover. Deflected by the defense of Ron Artest. Racing the other way.
Turnovers are killing the San Antonio Spurs here. This is the 4th quarter that Ron Artest has been looking for, being aggressive at the defensive end.
13 for Artest. Jefferson hits a triple. He's got 18 points. Another good game, the 4th in a row by Jefferson.
2 huge three-point shots by Richard Jefferson here in the 2nd half.
Look at the three-point shooting for the Lakers tonight, 1 of 11. Kobe fighting with Hill for position. Deflected by Manu. Gasol, shot clock at 8. Artest for 3. Duncan with the rebound, number 8. Lakers have missed their last 7 consecutive threes. 4.5 to play.
Duncan's going to have to look at the basket a little bit more.
Ginobili teeing up a triple. Kobe the rebound. Number 8. With 16 points and 8 assists. It was kicked. Yeah, it was. It was kicked.
Ron Artest, talked about Richard Jefferson and Ron Artest were going to be big parts of the offense tonight, creating offense with his defense, and then swinging the basketball for the San Antonio Spurs. Too much help by the Lakers. Wide open Jefferson knocking down the 3 for his 18 points.
Well, we got a hand on it. Gasol, shot clock at 6. Kobe picked up by Hill. Gasol with the rebound. 5. Rejected by Duncan. His second block and Kobe again. Oh, Gasol taps it back in.
How many opportunities, if you're the San Antonio Spurs, are you going to give the Lakers shots at the rim?
16 for Paul Gasol ties the Laker eyes. 16 for Bryant. San Antonio shooting 42%. Parker over Bryant. Ginobili the rebound.
24 second clock. When's the last time we've seen Tony Parker get into the lane? Maybe right there.
Yeah. Wow. 20 for Parker. That's the first points in the quarter for Tony.
It almost looked like Steve Blake had a hand on this basketball, gets out of position. Tony Parker just goes to the baseline side to get his first bucket here of this fourth period.
Al Gasol just picked up his first personal foul. Here's Tony Parker, who continues to have a surge here after kind of a slow start to the season. He is number 3, by the way. We talked about points in the paint. He is number 3 among guards in the NBA. Is Parker in points in the paint. 3 guys around Bryant. Odom. Duncan.
Trust your teammates. And that's exactly what Kobe Bryant did right there. 3 defenders converged to him. Kick the ball out to Lamar Odom with that length, with that size, being able to take the ball off the dribble. Nice finish.
Odom now has 13 off the bench and 7 have come in this fourth quarter for Los Angeles. Here is Parker. Defense on the perimeter, and Gasol makes the steal. 2:20 left in regulation. Kobe. Oh, he was whacked. Yep. It was Manu Ginobili who got him across the wrist as he was taking it inside with 2:15 to play, and Manu picks up number 4.
We're talking about
Mamba all about?
Well, that's my alter ego. I shift into,
It's like a superhero, Black
Well, yeah, it's like, I turn into Mamba. It's about shifting and going into your zone. When you play basketball, you got to get into another frame of mind of competition. That's not me personally, but when you step on the basketball court, you got to have that focus.
Well, tonight Kobe is hovering right over a triple-double with 16 points, 9 rebounds, and 9 assists. It's not been one of his better shooting nights, 5 of 17. We'll see what he can do here in the fourth quarter, where the Lakers need him most.
Well, what I've liked tonight is he's been a facilitator in getting the rest of the guys involved in the offense. And now, especially with 2:15 left here in this fourth period, you have Paul Gasol engaged, Lamar Odom engaged, and that's all because of Kobe Bryant. But we still need Kobe to be aggressive offensively, because as we just saw that last play when there was 3 Spurs around him and he found Lamar Odom, that's what you want Kobe Bryant to be. Garner all the attention, kick it out, and trust your teammate.
Parker with a game-high 21. Jefferson with 18. Kobe's on him. Artest watched Ginobili. Parker, shot clock at 9, 2 minutes to play. Duncan and Gasol. Tim Duncan, 8 points in 31 minutes with his first field goal there since 5.5 left in the second quarter.
And that's what Tim Duncan, if they're going to beat and dethrone the Lakers during the playoffs, when the game is on the line, you got to be able to go to Tim Duncan so he can knock down shots like that.
Ginobili and Gasol get tangled up. Kobe Bryant, 5 of 18. That's off the Lakers. 1:39 to play. Kobe 1 of 5 in this fourth quarter.
A long rebound here, hit by Lamar Odom. Manu doing a good job of boxing out Powell. Let's see if they go back to Tim Duncan here. Just scored over the outstretched hands of Pau Gasol. Yeah, but I like it. You know, you take time off the clock, you get it down to your most consistent low post scorer.
Dice is on Odom. Bryant. Lamar for three. 1-point game with 1 minute to play.
Good scramble offense there by the Los Angeles Lakers. More importantly, Kobe Bryant.
16 for Lamar Odom. All ball, shot clock at 10.
Gotta get to the rim.
Jefferson for the lead with a three. Rebound off McDyess. Yep. Looked like he was the last to touch it, and so the Lakers will have it. 38.5 to play. Down by 1 Los Angeles.
The officials, if they had elected not to, they could have went to the replay to see who that ball went out under 2 minutes left.
No fouls to give either way. Wait. Our text. Kobe. Gasol diving inside in the ball. And Gasol will whack pretty hard in there. Duncan was defending. 22.7 to play. Foul goes on, I think, McDyess.
Spurs got caught ball watching on Kobe Bryant. Look at all the eyes looking at Kobe. Pau does the smart thing by cutting to the basket. Catches the ball and gets fouled by McDyess.
And Gasol 1 of 2 from the free throw line tonight. That ties it.
Way for the Lakers to try to come back if they can find a way to win this ball game. Both teams only shooting 42% from the field. It looks like almost the Lakers have been in quicksand all game.
NBA when Seth Davis, members of the Turner Sports and CBS broadcast teams will join the game to talk March Madness. Coming up next here on TNT. No fouls to give. Lakers on top by a point with Gasol getting the free throw. 22.7 to play.
Well, if you're Greg Popovich right now, your main concern is how can I break down this Laker defense that has been stellar in this fourth period. Manu Ginobili, who's had a tough time getting around Ron Artest or Tony Parker, who's been having a tough time getting past Steve Blake. You've got to suck the Lakers defense in, and someone's going to have to make a wide open shot.
No changes for either team. As McDyess will inbound, Ginobili, Jefferson, Parker and Duncan, the San Antonio foul. Parker, Ginobili for the lead. McDyess. Parker into plate for the lead. Oh, he missed it inside. 4.6 to play.
Looks like that may be the Spurs ball. For two great looks for the Spurs. A wide open three, and then how about Parker? Gets all the way to the cup. Ball just goes in and out. But you couldn't ask for two better looks if you're Greg Popovich. You've got your two best players, your two best penetrators, as the Spurs call a timeout. And if I'm Greg Popovich, there's plenty of time, almost 5 seconds left. The ball underneath the basket. You've got a lot of quick screens, back screens here. Don't be surprised on a second shot opportunity. If you're the Lakers, you've got to box out.
They're going to check on the instant replay to see if indeed the ball was off of Los Angeles. And on the Lakers side?
Well, if you're the Lakers, you got to get big. You gave up two opportunities right there in the second shots. Your pal. Maybe if you're Phil Jackson, you bring back Andrew Bynum to go alongside. Powell and Lamar Odom bring back that size and length, but you give up quickness.
Well, both teams have players that can make big shots, and for the San Antonio Spurs, Manu Ginobili has certainly been in that role several times this season.
So this win against the Milwaukee Bucks, a step back over Luke Richard and Mahamute, and then a night later, the game you and I called in Denver, the up and under against the Nuggets, and then defensively taking the charge against Carmelo Anthony.
San Antonio will inbound. They just looked at the replay.
That's the back screen here. This is Richard Jefferson.
Duncan, and this for the win. Oh, they got it, McDyess! I think he may have been late. We'll have to see. McDyess tipped it in.
They're calling it good, but they are going to go to the video replay. And I did say you've got to box out and not let second shot opportunities.
And was there basket interference, too? Was his hand inside the cylinder? Let's see.
Well, they're calling the basket good. The question is there enough time left? And that's a good tip by Antonio McDyess. That's game time. Second shot opportunities will kill you in a situation like this.
And his hand was not in the cylinder. Phil Jackson thinking it was, and saying that to the officiating crew as they're now looking at the replay.
Well, they can't review that to see if it was offensive.
It's just the time.
It's just the time. And that is game. Smart move there by Antonio McDyess, keeping the ball alive. It wasn't the greatest of shot by Tim Duncan, but he's almost underneath the basket, tipping the ball in.
Clearly,
the clock doesn't look very happy there.
With the light not going off and the horn not sounding, they do count it, and San Antonio wins at the buzzer on a tip-in by McDyess, who finishes with 6 in the quarter, 8 for the game, and the Lakers in a contest that they thought they had to win to at least show how they were playing and how seriously they took this game. Lose it. Let's go quickly to Cheryl Miller.
Wow, Kevin, what a finish. Just talk about the last 3 plays. You guys had great looks, but McDyess comes up with that huge tip.
It was crazy. You know, penetrate. Manu was wide open, had a great 3. Then I had a great teardrop. That's my shot. And then Timmy had a great look, and then his dice. I'm very happy you made that shot.
Hey, Tony, what did this game mean to you guys? You lost the game in Portland, and this was a big game for you guys.
It was a huge game. We wanted to bounce back, and, you know, we want to show we're a good team, and so that's a great win for us.
All right. Hey, talk about this game, because it was hard to kind of put your finger on it. It's very nondescript.
Yeah, the Lakers is a very good team, so, you know, they're up and down. We got a little lead. They came back, and we got the win at the end, so it's a great win for us.
All right, thanks for your time. You guys?
Well, they had several shots at it, did the Spurs. They finally got the tip in at the buzzer from McDyess.
Ginobili, wide open 3. They get the rebound. Tony Parker gets into the lane, in and out shot. 4.6 seconds left. Duncan can get it. Antonio McDyess with the tip.
Kobe had 16, but 21 from Parker, 18 Jefferson, and 8 from McDyess. Big-time win for the San Antonio Spurs. For Cheryl Miller and Reggie Miller, Kevin Harlan saying so long. Now sending you to Atlanta, and Ernie Johnson.